Right, so let's put aside Photoshop. And now let's make a difficulty tier list. Let's see, I'm just gonna turn off Photoshop. Like so. Oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun and it's gonna be 100% accurate. So at the top there, we have hard. So the... Start with a wank joke, that always works. So the further up a character is, the harder I deem the character. And the lower, of course, the easier the character is. So we can start, you know, by putting out extremes. Like, oh wait. Okay, about here, I think. What's that? Wait, I think my son is knocking on the door. No, that was a joke. Nina players, I'm sorry. Nina is above average in difficulty. But yeah, she's no Kazuya, I'm sorry. He's very difficult. He's very hard. Oh no! That is making important video. It was girlfriend and son. But this video is incredibly important for the Tekken community. If I don't release this in a few hours, everyone's gonna go absolutely nuts. What are main man's thoughts on this? We need to know! Chewing off their fingers. Oh, in frustration, awaiting the word of God. Just fueling the fire of people telling me I have a God complex. I love it. I'm gonna do this rather quickly. I'm sorry I'm being slow. Lee is harder than Kazuya, in my opinion. Where's Brian? Where is Brian? Hello! He's just hiding. Brian, I think Brian is super difficult to play. Really difficult. I'm gonna put him above there, and Nina maybe here. So Nina, harder than your average character, but when I add up, you know, all of the different player categories, I can't put her higher than that. Although she is difficult at the top level, absolutely. Let's see. Now let's go with an easy character. Noctis. About here. Where is Katarina? Where are you, you skank? You're even easier than Noctis, I would say. Katarina is the easiest character in the game. Jin is absurdly hard. I'm gonna put him next to Kazuya. Heihachi is difficult as fuck. I think Heihachi though is helped in beginner and intermediate by his hell sweeps, people not blocking them, and 442 people not handling that very well. So I'm gonna say he's slightly easier, although of course at the top level he's very, very hard. Devil Jin is gonna be here. Let's see, where is Paul? Is around here, I would say. Oh god, why are there so many characters in this game? It like fucking never ends. Gigas is very difficult. To be honest, he's more difficult than Nina. I'm sorry, Nina mains. I know you're probably thinking like, Gigas is super easy, but if you try and play him, like I promise he's difficult. I'm gonna put Gigas here. Let's see, Geese is pretty hard, but he's helped so much by people being so ridiculously bad at the matchup, and he's so strong. Yeah, it's like Gigas, there's no execution, it's just that the character has almost nothing to work with. and you have no panic moves, and you have a huge hitbox. It's like, it's like a big cow, a huge two-ton cow walking about on the countryside, and it's hunting season for cows, and it's got a big bullseye painted on its back, and it's as big as a house. And there are the highest trees are about as high as a toilet. That's Gigas. Let's see. You know what? Let's just do them in chronological order as I have them there. But does this square even have space for all of these characters? That's what I'm fucking wondering. You're correct. Devil Jin should go down a little bit. I agree. Do this. But Geese has a lot of execution. No, that's where we're gonna do this. Geese has a lot of execution. Even at the lowest level, yeah, you need high execution. I can see the Nina mains fuming in the chat. Although I explained perfectly well why I put Nina where I do. You guys remind me of gym players. So sensitive with your characters. Akuma is very difficult. Very high execution. Lars is an easy character to pick up and play. He's easy most of the time. At high level he's difficult. But yeah, I'm gonna put him there. Hwoarang is difficult. Sure, we can flamingo bullshit quite a bit. But there's some execution involved here actually. Those of you who haven't played Hwoarang, it's down 3-4, free, hold forward to cancel, you know, to down forward 4, hold, you know, there is some execution involved to playing Hwoarang. It's not like Katarina, you know, where you're just hitting the same button over and over. And Hwoarang becomes complicated at high level because all of your good moves are locked behind stances. It's not like Casimir where you always have access to fantastic tools. And he's just complicated due to the number of moves, but of course this is thrown right in the face of your opponent, who has to now to deal with all of those moves. So it's a double-edged sword with Hwoarang, where he's so easy at lower levels, although, albeit, you need execution. This was demonstrated very well. Those of you who dislike Hwoarang, it's like, he's not as brain dead as you think, to be honest. Sure, you can flamingo spam, but this was demonstrated by Forsen, actually, Swedish streamer who played Tekken 7. Started out with Katarina. In 2 days or 3 days, he got Juggernaut rank with no prior experience. Just pushing buttons. And after those 3 days, when he had some experience, he tried Hwoarang and he couldn't make it out of light blue ranks. So here you see the difference in ease of use of these characters. So those of you who dislike Hwoarang, like, you have to realize there is some execution involved, you know, and knowing some stuff. Hwoarang players are not, you know, hitting a 4 button over and over and over and over and over. So Hwoarang, I'm gonna have to say he's absolutely harder than the average character, and I'm gonna put him here. Jack is pretty damn easy, I would say. Gonna put him here. Although of course he has weaknesses, it's hard to be you have to be a defensively strong player to play Jack due to the limited stepping, your big hurt box. Where are we? Alisa. Let's just put her in the dumpster over here until I actually have some motivation to think of her. Dragunov. Dragunov actually used to be technical. But what do you have these days? While running 2? I'm not gonna say Dragunov is hard, only because of while running 2. You need more execution to play Paul now that I think of it. Dragunov is not hard. While running 2 is all you have there. That's execution, but with Paul you need to do lightning fast quarter circles. And Dragunov is very strong. No, I'm not gonna say that Dragunov is a super difficult character. Let's put him at average. Oh, Law. Just like Hwoarang. Like, you get away with a lot of shit in lower ranks. At high ranks it's harder, you need the DSS to punish. But you have the best 14 frame Punisher in the game, I would say. 3 plus 4, 4, making him so ridiculously easy to whiff punish with. And punish overall. You have a DSS, but to be honest, his everything else is so easy. DSS. Okay, we'll take him up due to the DSS. A little bit. Bob goes in the dumpster. Steve is a difficult character. Steve is a difficult character. He goes up there. Xiao Yu. The thing is, at high level, you need to know what you're doing with this character. But at professional level. But at beginner, intermediate and high level, you get free wins all over the place because you have arguably the most complicated character in the game when it comes to defending against her. And this is literally get away with murder, the character. For that, I can't call it a difficult character. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Xiao Yu mains. But that's the way it is. Asuka is very easy. Very easy. Lily is average, I would say. There is some execution. Yoshi is... Yoshi. God, how do you rate Yoshi in terms of difficulty? You have to be creative and come up with a lot of douchebag flowcharts. That's basically it. You go into practice. That's what Yoshi players do. They don't even play ranked or versus people. They go into practice mode and they find bullshit setups. That's how you play Yoshi. But he's above average in difficulty. But you can bullshit so hard in literally any rank. Not at pro level, but any other level of play you can bullshit so much with that character. Leo is an easy character. Feng Wei is quite average. King is a complicated character to play for sure. Does he belong next to these guys? He does, in my opinion. It's quite high execution and quite complicated play to play King. Kazumi is very fundamentally based, but in the end quite easy to play. But you do need strong fundamentals to get the most out of her. You need strong fundamentals to be effective. But yeah, we'll put her here. Claudio is an easy character. Most of the time an easy character. Slightly harder than those. I would put him there. Where are we? Josie is very easy. Chloe is easy. Eliza is easy. And now before you get a stroke out of anger, the thing with Eliza is that any other level of play outside of professional level, you stomp everyone. You just dive kick, explosion at the wall, no one knows what's going on. Am I playing Guilty Gear or Tekken? Sorry, I can't simply look at professional level and say, your character is super hard. I can't. We have to be fair. We have to be realistic. You know. So, Shaheen, average, Eddie, difficult for sure at high level, but yeah, he's pretty, I'm gonna put him here. He relies a lot. Your opponent has to play very well to counter you, has to be very knowledgeable, and that helps you playing Eddie. Let's see, Master Raven can bullshit people very easily. There is some execution involved. I'm gonna put her at average. Kuma, bullshit city. Gonna put him here. Miguel, not very difficult in my opinion. Dumpster. Lei, piss easy. Lei mains. Ah! Sorry, but I've explained this a million times. I've explained it a million times, and if you think about it, you're gonna realize I'm correct as usual. The thing you have to do, oh sorry camera. The thing you have to do is look at it this way. The way you look at it, a Lei player, is you look at your move list and you're like, oh god damn, I'm so good. I've learned to memorize and do at least half of all of these strings. I remember all of them and I can do them in matches. That's really cool. Wow, I'm talented. Look at it this way instead. Your opponent, when he fights you, and we don't see a lot of Leis by the way, when he fights you, he has to deal with all of those 100 strings and 20 stances that you are throwing against him. And if it's one thing I've learned about Tekken, is that it's much harder to defend than it is to attack. Anyone can do a sequence of these buttons. I have yet to find a person who can't. I went out with a laptop with this pad connected, saw a random hobo who had drool coming out. He was in the middle of a seizure. I put this in his hands and he did a Lei Tenet combo. So it's much easier to attack in this game than it is to block. So I'm just saying, defense, ducking at the right moment, you know, doing correct backdashes, sidestepping, dealing with those strings is much harder than it is when doing those strings. And with Lei, you have the biggest mix-up bag in the game. No one has more moves, no one has more stances. And you might know how hard it is to lab just one of all of these characters. Your opponent has to worry about all of these, not only your Lei. You worry a lot about Lei because it's your character. You learn a few moves and then you just attack. Who has time to defend? I can just do shit. And I put all of the burden on my opponent. Oh, you better know this shit! And when your opponent has to worry about all of these characters, what are the odds that he's gonna be good at, an expert, knowledgeable on Lei? Oh, right, he's not. And that's why when I go online, when I do encounter a Lei, you get blown up. Because you have no, you never see the character. And there's just too much to lab. And I mean, even if you lab Lei, you know, really take the time to get into him, you see him so seldom that when he does show up, it's like I've forgotten most of what I learned in the lab. It's like I think, in my opinion, that when you have a character that has 20 stances and 200 moves, that's a great asset. That's not a burden. That's a burden on your opponent. And what's the hardest thing in Tekken? Oh, it's defending. Oh, defend against my 200 strength. Yes. So, Lei, I would say you win for absolute fucking free. 99.9% of the time. But at professional level, you will encounter people who counter you well, I think. But how many people know how to counter Lei perfectly? A couple of hundred people in the world? How many people can even say they've mastered Lei as a character? If I grabbed the best Lei player in Europe, I would bet $100 he hasn't even himself mastered the character. He doesn't know exactly how to use all of those moves and stances. That's how complicated that character is. And all of that complexity is thrown right into the face of your opponent, who has to worry not only about Lei, but about all of these fucking characters. So I hope that makes it clear why I think Lei is piss easy. And not shitting on Lei here. Those of you main Lei and love him, that's great. Keep playing him, but I can't hear that Lei is hard without giggling quite a bit. Anna is an easy character, high risk, high reward. Incredibly hard to play at high level because she's so weak on the frames and bad hitboxes. But she's designed to be very easy, but... should I put her slightly higher than these characters? I'm gonna put her here due to how broken she is at high level. Marduk is an easy character. He has some shortcomings that make him harder to use. Very counter hit oriented, but he's pretty easy. Come on, and how spammable is not the tackle even at high level? I just can't say Marduk is. Yeah, absolutely. He has hard combos if you do VTS cancel into forward 1+2 throw. But can you say he's super hard? Or hard even, to be honest. Spamming tackles on people, up forward 3, down back 2, down back 2. To be honest, you mud stomp most player categories with this character. But yeah, okay, I agree, he has some execution. We'll put him here then. I agree. Let's see. Julia is complicated, but she has a lot of cheese as well. But she needs execution and mind games. Should she perhaps even be here? But she has a lot of... no, I think she actually belongs there. And then we have Negan. Where the fuck do you put Negan? Super easy at beginner intermediate, but then it becomes very hard because he's so lacking as a character. But no one has any knowledge on the matchup, so that helps you. Easy. I'm gonna put him here. Armor King is a hard and complicated character, but I would say slightly easier than these characters. I'm gonna put him here. In my opinion. So that's actually it. I think that's gonna be it for me and character difficulty tier list. And I'm kinda happy with how it turned out. I'm kind of happy with this. I think that was pretty good. I mean, if I showed this to everyone at Evo. I'm gonna print it out. Everyone's probably gonna go like, we agree. Flawless. Dumpster! What? You don't get out of a dumpster once you've been put in the dumpster. You thought I was gonna cover these characters? Get the fuck out of here. No, they've been dumpstered for a reason. So they stay in the fucking dumpster. Well, I mean... No, I'm not. They stay in the dumpster. What's my reason? Have you looked at these faces? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Thought that was pretty good. So, let's play some Tekken.